I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? We would like to begin this interaction this day of your time by pointing out very strongly to you, once again, from a slightly different direction, the idea now of what you call the acceleration going on all around you, which is really the acceleration going on within you. And that now you will see more and more and more of the symptoms, shall we say, of this acceleration of your energy, this evolution of your energy, this evolution of your consciousness upon your planet through the kinds of symptomologies in your physical reality, such as what you call synchronicity, which is another term for what you call coincidence. But by removing the concept of it being accidental, you understand that everything in life is an orchestration. Everything is the result of a choice that your consciousness makes, and every choice your consciousness makes has an impact, a profound impact upon everything that occurs in your physiological reality. Synchronicity, being in the right place at the right time, seeing exactly, hearing exactly, meeting exactly the right people when you need to, the right thing when you need to, the right phrase at the right time, exactly when you need it to, knowing that something is going to happen and then seeing it manifest. All those ideas of the increase of sensitivity of your senses to other energies, to the timing of things, to the orchestration of life. These are the things that you now will find happening more and more and more on a daily basis in your reality as you become more accelerated, as your energy becomes more heightened and more in alignment, more synchronized with the higher energies of the dimensions toward which you are evolving. You are now being able to draw consciously, no longer so much subconsciously or unconsciously, but more and more consciously upon these energies, upon these knowingnesses, so that rather than just ascribing these ideas of knowingness to your dream life, to your imagination, now they are beginning to leak, shall we say, into your day-to-day physical experience, so that you are becoming more psychic, more prescient, more telepathic, and being able now to see all around you more examples of the appropriate and perfect timing of just being in the right place, as we said, just meeting exactly who you need to meet, when you need to meet them, so on and so forth. And your life begins to become an ecstatic explosion of synchronicity, one moment after the next, unfolding magically, miraculously, as you may use those terms. But you must understand something very important. What you have for thousands of years in your language called miracles and magic is really the way life naturally works when you allow it to. When you get out of your own way, so to speak, when you stop attempting to impose the idea of control over how life unfolds, then you will see that miracles are the natural order of the day, that life can come together in spontaneous creation, providing exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and not a moment before, but not a moment later either. Let your life work that way by starting to get more practice of getting into the flow of the idea that your life already works. You don't have to make it work, it already works flawlessly, because each and every one of you were created in the image, as you say, of the infinite creator. You are a co-creator, and everything you think, every choice you make, every idea you have spontaneously generates a result in your physiological reality. Because physical reality is not something you dwell within. Physical reality is an extension of your consciousness, a projection of your consciousness, a mirror that reflects the strongest definitions, the strongest beliefs that you have been taught to think are true, that you have been taught to think are the most likely things that are possible to be experienced in your reality. So when you change your thoughts, you change your definitions, and you allow yourself, you grant yourself the permission to know that life can be miraculous as the natural order of things, then bit by bit you will see your life become so. It will unfold more effortlessly, more magically, more creatively, and you will know that you are at the core, at the center, at the seed of all those things, that life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. And bit by bit you will get a better sense of that, and you will know that control is really letting go. Because if life already works, You have but to simply see a vision and act according to that vision, and with absolute conviction and certainty know that if you are at one with that vibrational vision, then life will just unfold naturally in that way. You don't have to wrestle your life into position. You have for thousands of years been taught that this must be so, and look where it has gotten you. You have lives of struggle and pain and suffering and dis-ease, and you are very, 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 very tired. And so it is time to let go and allow yourselves to know you're already in control just because you are made as an aspect of creation, and everything you do is natural to you. It is second nature for you to create. It's just that you have been out of touch with the fact that you are doing the creating of the things you experience in your life. Once you get back in touch with the knowledge that all the things that happen in your physiological reality are because of the definitional beliefs you have within you about what you think is possible, you can change those definitions and see your reality change in accordance to that shift within your concept. It really is fundamentally that simple. Now, we understand that because of many of the belief systems you've already had ingrained within you for countless generations, it may not at first seem that simple to change your reality immediately as you would desire to. But really it is that fundamental, and once you get a handle on it, especially now in this day and age on your planet, this transformational age where you're exploring expansions of consciousness, you will see in short order, I guarantee you, that by applying these new recognitions, these new definitions, this new awareness of yourself as being the creator of your reality, if you apply that in every thought, word, and deed, I guarantee you will see the result in short order, very strongly and undeniably. Many of you have already begun to see this happening, manifesting on a day-to-day basis, and each manifestation strengthens you, gives you the confidence to know that that's the way life can be. We understand, believe me, we understand that this will seem shocking to many of you, that the idea that you have been taught of what you have called for thousands of years a fairy tale imagination is actually the way life really works when you allow it to. That life is magical. That's all it is. It's the magic of the transformation of the idea of yourself into some tangible reflection of experiencing that idea of yourself. That's all it is. Physical reality is made of you, made of your consciousness. You do not live in physical reality. Physical reality lives in you. You just project it outside yourself, apparently, in a type of an illusion that gives you the ability to play with the idea of creation in a way that allows you to appreciate the mechanism itself, that has time delays within it, so that you can actually see that there is a mechanism involved between the thought and the thing. In higher spiritual levels, where there isn't the idea of time and space, the instant you think of something, it manifests instantly. Physical reality is for the purpose of slowing that process down so that you can learn to appreciate the idea of what it is you are creating, so that you can take your time and change your mind and say, well, no, I don't choose this, I prefer that. It gives you the ability to savor the creation, to take your time, to enjoy it, to roll it around in your consciousness before you manifest it. That's one of the benefits of the limitation of physical reality. But of course, what you also perhaps didn't count on is that limitation also can allow you to forget that you yourself decided to create physical reality that way. Now, however, at the end of the cycle of forgetfulness, now that you've played out just about every limiting game you can in your physical reality, you are once again going into the cycle of remembering, oh yes, we created this game to savor creation. And now we know that it has taken us far enough so that we can actually forget that we are the ones creating it. But that was the name of the game. Because in that sense, only by forgetting can the creator really experience this idea. Each and every one of you experience the idea of physical reality as if it really were totally new. For the first time. Pristine. For that is what forgetting is for. So that you have an absolute experience without the idea of remembering that you created it, which in some senses would knock the experience down, would lessen it to some degree, would not make it quite as potent. But now you are going into a new cycle where it is not necessary to forget. You now have mastered the idea of creating your reality in a variety of ways so that now you can create it in a different way. You will not completely necessarily as a civilization transcend to non-physical reality yet, but you will now allow your physical reality to become more plastic, more malleable, more flexible, so that you can really see the connection between the creation and yourself, between consciousness and physical reality, so that now you get to see the process going backwards, back toward the idea of your initial creatorhood. This is what is going on your planet now, is the recombining, the integration, the reintegration of all the segregation and separation you have created for thousands of years, so that you once again will remember that you yourself are, each and every one of you, a unique and total aspect of all that is, of creation itself. Does this make sense to you? Does this translate into your language adequately? With this in mind, and in applying this in specific or general ways now, in these upcoming dialogues, we will attempt to explore together a little bit further how this concept can be applied to your daily lives so that you can see the changes that you do prefer. In return now at this time for the gift that you have given to us, our civilization, in experiencing you, I am allowed to ask you now, in what way at this time may we be of service to you? I don't say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? We would like to begin this transmission with the following notion that we would like to entitle, That's the Spirit. The idea really is to understand, as many of you are beginning to, that you have in your language many indicators that the idea of being at one with your spirit involves and invokes the idea of a higher frequency, a higher energy that you can utilize in your day-to-day reality to great effect, to great application. Such phrases as, that's the spirit, get into the spirit of the thing, a spirited exchange, give you the indication that you know, at least instinctively, that the idea of being aligned with the concept of spirit brings more energy to whatever endeavor it is you are participating in. The idea to also, of course, understand is not so much to think of yourself as a spiritual person, but more accurately as a personalized spirit. It has been said already on your planet and recognized that you are not really so much a human being having a spiritual experience as you are a spirit having a human experience. You are spirit, and in that sense, simply your physiological personality, your physiological body, is simply your spirit in physical terms, in a physical modality, in a physical translation. So when you think of yourself exploring the concept of consciousness, of spirituality, please recognize that what you are doing is really looking at your true nature, your true self. And this in no way, shape, or form is a denial of physiological reality. Please do not make the mistake of understanding the idea of exploring spirit as a divestment of the physiological reality. As we are saying, physical reality and spirit in essence are one and the same idea, but just different modes of expression of that idea. In the same way that the idea of ice and water, liquid water, are the same substance, so too the idea of the physical and the spiritual really are made of your consciousness, but are simply different forms, different expressions, different conditions of the same substance, so to speak. So there really is no great separation between physical reality, spiritual reality. There really is no great gulf between them. They are only slightly different by a matter of frequency, by a matter of vibration, by a matter of effect, by a matter of perspective. And as you now are opening more doorways within your consciousness to explore the whole idea of how you can pragmatically and practically apply the concepts of spirituality to your day-to-day physical existence, you can take a moment to realize that it really isn't a great leap to make. that you can do so, that you can apply more and more understanding of spirit to physical reality, because really, fundamentally, when you say it comes right down to it in your language, living your physical life to the fullest, acting on your joy, being as creative as you possibly can be, being as loving as you possibly can be, acting in the direction of your truth as much as you possibly can, living your physical life to the fullest is one of the greatest acts of spirituality you can possibly express. So the idea really is to not necessarily think that exploring spirituality has to involve looking hither, thither, and yon, as you say, somewhere way out there into some great and mysterious dark place necessarily that is difficult to find. But all you really have to do is really look at yourself, understand yourself, and understand that it is only by your definition of yourself that you create the apparency of physical reality from the true existence of your spirit, of your consciousness. So allow it to be more one thing, would be our suggestion. Allow yourself to begin to see and feel the concept of spirit as your true energy. And everything you do, everything that you deem to be worthwhile as an endeavor, then by all means, get into the spirit of it. For if it is worth doing, it is worth doing fully. Otherwise, then, if it is not really what you really believe to be representative of your truth, your joy, your excitement, your best endeavor, I would strongly suggest that you don't do it. Because when you fill your life with things that are not representative of your true frequency, you make no room, you leave no room for the things that truly are. And your reality can only then reflect to you the things that are representative of your joy, the things that are representative of your happiness, to the same degree that you are willing to express your full energy of spirit and your full recognition of what is true for you in the life you chose to live. For you did choose it. It is not an accident. You orchestrated it in many ways, not always all the specifics. You always leave open the element of surprise, spontaneity. But in many ways, the general themes of your physiological lives, you have chosen and orchestrated what kinds of ideas you will in general explore. So make the most of this by knowing that you are left as a physical personality spirit with the free will to determine exactly how you will explore those general themes you laid out for yourself. To what degree you will allow yourself to be yourself. For that is fundamentally the only real purpose you have in your life, to be yourself as best as you possibly can. Anything else that you may consider to be a purpose, a goal, a career, an achievement, are not really so much those things as simply they are the side effects or the expressions or the modalities of the true goal of your life, the true purpose and mission of your life, which is simply be yourself as best as you possibly can, because you've never been this you before and you will never be this you again. Therefore, take advantage of the uniqueness of yourself in this moment, here and now, and express it freely. As you say again in your language, go for it. That's the spirit. Allow yourself to be one with self. Live your life in joy and do those things that you know are true for you. Now again I remind you on another subject that this timing, this cycle is of great advantage to you, to the idea of accepting your spiritual vibration and energy. In your typical full moon cycle, there is a great amount of opportunity in these kinds of timings of energy to get in touch with the inner self and open those doorways for the blending and the balancing of the polarities within the self, the day and the night, symbolized and reflected by your particular planet's moon in its brightness in the midst of the darkness. The opportunity to see the polarity exhibited, reflected, symbolized in your heavens by that full bright moon, and to get into touch with those deep things that have been perhaps in darkness hidden from your consciousness, to shed the light, the inner light upon them, bring them into full recognition, and do not fear them, for they are only bits and pieces of yourself that in some senses have become lost in the darkness along the way, have become forgotten from time to time. Gather them back together. Pull yourself together. Integrate yourself in that way. Take advantage of this time. The final symbolism, represented also by the season on your planet that your particular people in your locale happen to be in at this time in your hemisphere. What you call your upcoming All Hallows Eve, your Halloween. Very significant and symbolic in a variety of ways, in that you are allowing yourself at least an opportunity to begin to even consider playing with the idea of your fears, letting it actually be all right to be scared for a while and actually having some fun with it. You can take advantage of this timing to really go deep with this idea and know that there really is nothing to fear about facing your fears. Have some fun with them, and let them give you the information that they contain for you, to point you in the direction, to put you in touch with the issues and the things that have been forgotten within you that do require integration. Have some fun with it. That is what you use your Halloween for. Use it anytime you wish. That energy is available to you all the time, but now very strongly in this cycle. And it is representative of not only the ending of a cycle, but the beginning of a cycle, as was symbolized long ago in your civilization. For what you call your honoring of your date of Halloween is, in that sense, the anniversary, as you would say, of the night before the destruction of Atlantis in your history. And then your November 1st, the day of the destruction, and then your November 2nd, the day after. So All Hallows Eve represents the idea of the imminent unleashing of what you say colloquially in your language when all hell breaks loose. And that is why you have now symbolized it in this holiday ritual of Halloween, when the spirits are free to roam. The idea is to take advantage of knowing that even though the cycle long ago may have ended in what you would call destruction, now there is an opportunity by getting back in touch with this energy to know that you're at the end of another cycle, wherein you can make the decision not to necessarily express it in the way that you did then, many thousands of your years ago. You have come a long way in your lessons since that time, and it is up to you to now decide to use that energy more positively instead of utilizing it in the way it was used back then, some 11 to 12,000 of your years ago. You are now at a time of transition and transformation in your society. This is why you are all exploring the ideas of consciousness, why you are all hearing so much more about the idea of other worlds, other dimensions, other lives, other levels, what you call us extraterrestrials. The idea is simply all part and parcel of you getting in touch with more of yourselves, and by getting in touch with more of your own consciousness, beginning to realize that there is more to get in touch with. The more you get in touch with yourselves, the more you open up to the possibility that there are more levels of reality to interact with. So the more integration, the more you can interact in various ways with an integration within different civilizations, different dimensions of spirit, and so forth. So again, take advantage of it. Get into the spirit of the thing and have fun. We thank you for allowing us to reflect and remind you of these concepts, these symbols, these suggestions, in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization. In allowing us to communicate with you through this window at this time, I ask you now in return, in what way may I and my civilization be of service to you? I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Great. We would like to begin this interaction this day of your time with a discussion on the imagination. It is something that all of you have but perhaps many of you have not allowed yourselves to really utilize since you were children. Sometimes when you on your planet are raised in the paradigms and structures of society that you have created for yourselves, your imaginations over time as you move into physical adulthood become a little bit, shall we say, rusty. And so the idea is to add some lubrication to those rusty imaginations and allow yourself to realize what a fascinating and powerful tool the imagination actually is for many of you in having desires to change things in your life, in having the strong conviction, the willingness to change things in your life. Sometimes find that you are lacking in certain areas in knowing how to go about doing that. And I will tell you that even though it may seem to be a very nebulous thing, the imagination is one of, if not the most powerful tools you have for actually allowing you to change your life in the way that you want to. As children, you all know how to use your imagination flawlessly. It is a natural thing, an instinctive thing, an intuitive thing. But very often you are drummed out of the habit of using your imagination by the things that you are taught in your society, such as, oh, do grow up. Oh, stop daydreaming. Oh, that'll never happen. Oh, don't be silly. Oh, don't be ridiculous. Oh, be an adult. Oh, please. All these excuses, all these ideas of conformation, making you fit the mold, sometimes has a tendency to dull the imagination, and therefore you find yourself in certain circumstances and find that there is no way out because you have forgotten the magic doorway through your imagination. As children, you all know how to use it, and you do it flawlessly, instinctively, as we said, and you will find that if you stop and think about it a moment and remember back to your childhood, or just take a glance at any child on your planet who is playing, you will see that when they are imagining themselves to be something, they are not really pretending. They are that thing. In thought, word, and deed, in all their actions with total conviction, they see the picture of what it is they believe themselves to be, and in that moment, vibrationally, they really are that thing. Now, if your society were actually structured in such a manner as to actually allow children to take advantage of their imagination at an earlier age than you allow them to do, you would find that many members of your society would be able to actually go into many different kinds of disciplines and callings and projects and careers far, far, far earlier than you allow them to do right now, because they really do have the capacity to do so much earlier than you think that they do. The idea is to get back in touch with that playful imagination, that freedom of spirit, that freedom of vision, so that you can create the blueprint, create the template that gives color and shape and form to your dream, your inner wishes, your true desires, your heart of heart wish, so that you can know that whatever the strongest images are that come up in your imagination that represent what you say you would really rather be doing in life, really are more than just the concept of wishful thinking or daydreaming. They really are the pictures that are accurately and precisely representative of how you could be living your life. Why? Because your imagination is vibrationally keyed to your particular personality. And you contain a set of probable realities that you have laid out for yourself in this physical reality. And your imagination is like the library of all the things that are achievable by you. And the things that contain the highest energy, the most passion, the most excitement, and the most creativity, the most vivid images that come into your imagination with regard to the things you could be doing in life are the images that are most representative of the things you actually could more easily achieve in life than the things you're doing that you don't enjoy. But when you have taken it upon yourself to include all sorts of belief systems that say your imagination is nothing, it's not real, this is reality, grow up, then you short-circuit your ability to use your imagination as an actual template, as an actual blueprint that very precisely defines in pictorial form the kind of life you actually could be living, and shows you, when you see yourself in that imaginary future, in that imaginary endeavor, in that imaginary picture, shows you how to act in order to become the frequency of that reality, and in so doing, to attract that reality into your life, to attract all the circumstances, the situations, the opportunities, the people that can allow you the opportunity to manifest, to solidify, to crystallize around you the picture you see that is representative of your highest passion and excitement in the gateway of your imagination. This is what your imagination is for, to show you who you really are, what you really can achieve, what is really capable of happening in your life. You must allow yourself to remove the blocks, the chains, the straitjackets you have placed upon your imaginations by diminishing it, labeling it as something less than your intellect, that it isn't necessarily a product of the real world, that it isn't possible for you to achieve what you see in your dream of dreams, your vision of vision, your heart of hearts. You must allow yourself to drop these limiting definitions of your imagination, because when you do, I guarantee 100% you will discover that everything you can picture for yourself that is representative of your highest passion is absolutely achievable by you in very effortless and joyful ways. It doesn't mean you will not have challenge. It doesn't mean you will not grow. It doesn't mean you will not have puzzles and mysteries to solve, but you do not need the struggle, the effort, the pain of attempting to become what it is you know in your heart you would like to be. Because you will find that actually, in fact, all of the pain, all the struggle, all the suffering, all of the spinning your wheels, as you say in your language, where it seems like you are running as fast as you can and getting nowhere, all of that comes from attempting to be who you are not. When you allow yourself to be who you really are, which your imagination can show you in clear images, you will actually find that the so-called impossible dream, unreachable vision, is actually the most effortless and joyful thing that could happen in your life if you will allow yourself to believe that that's who you really are. Guaranteed. You all follow along? All right. Now, there are many ways to allow yourself access to this imagination, and in the discussions we shall have this day of your time, some of these methodologies will come out, but I will tell you that one of the strongest ones, and everything will key into this, will be that once you have the picture in your imagination, you must take action. In every way, shape, or form, as close in proximation as you can to the images you see in that vision, in your imagination. You must act like the you in that dream as closely as you can in order to create the vibration that will attract the elements of that reality and allow them to manifest. Action and imagination must be bonded into one idea, not two, one. So that as you see, you are, and as you are, you experience. That is how reality is created by you. You take actions that create a vibration that attract the opportunities representative of that frequency. When you are operating on a certain frequency, you can only get, this is simple physics, you can only get the reality representative of that frequency. When you are operating on a frequency that is not representative of the reality you want, there is no way for you to get that reality. Simply by definition. Let this be a simple principle that has profound impact in your life. And you will understand that it will take very little to make all the difference in your world if you are but willing to act on the imagination you are capable of conjuring within you. Now, in return, once again, for your willingness to allow us to experience the gift of your consciousness, I ask you, in what way may we be of service to you?